Today we are doing a modification to a Levi's Barstow screen accurate shirt. Usually to indicate these Barstows, they've got the Levi's tag. A lot of times you'll see a shirt just like this, but it'll say standard. Those are not screen accurate, unfortunately. If it says standard, not screen accurate. Just the Levi's San Francisco. You'll have a tab here, and there is an inside tab on the side. This isn't a full review video, by the way. This is just a modification tutorial. The person I'm modding it for isn't myself. It's actually a buddy of mine. I'm modding it for him. But he requested that I keep the tag on and to not Sharpie in the buttons. So this won't be a full 100% modification of this shirt. I already have a Barstow shirt for myself already fully modified, which I can do a review on that in another video. But this video is just strictly going to be dyeing it. And there is also another indicator, is that line underneath the pocket. But this isn't a review. This is just showing you how I'm going to dye it. Now, this is going to be an earlier version of this shirt. There's two ways you can modify this shirt. There is just using charcoal gray with RIT, and there is another way that you can add a little bit of green in it, or like a forest green, to give it that like sweaty dirt look. But my friend requested that he just wants it to be a cleaner gray, so that's what we're gonna do. By using this, we have a pot of water getting warmed up right now, and we're about to throw it in. I will say sorry in advance if you hear a dog barking. I just got a new puppy. So you want to make sure it's hot. You'll see some boils start to form. That's what you want. You see some boils coming up to the surface. You want to throw probably about a good portion of this, anywhere from 1/3 to half the bottle of this charcoal gray for the cleaner earlier season look. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw this in before we throw the shirt in. So honestly, probably going to use the rest of this bottle. I only had about 1/3 left, so we're going to go ahead and use all the rest of it up. And you're going to want to grab something to stir this with, preferably a spatula that you don't necessarily care that gets dirty or not. It could dye the spatula depending on the spatula that you have, or wooden spatula. As you can see, I have it on high right now. I feel like I'm doing a cooking tutorial. I have it on high right now just to get that water nice and hot. That water feels pretty warm, so maybe we'll give it a couple more minutes, stir this in, get the water mixture going. Right now it looks black, but don't worry, it's just gray. So we're going to stir that in. Okay, we have our mixture nice and stirred. An important thing you want to do is make sure you want to fully submerge this shirt. So have enough water to where you know it's going to be fully submerged. And make sure there's no air bubbles popping out of the top. You don't want to just leave it sit here, have like half the shirt hanging, half of it bubbled up over here, some over here, maybe the sleeve over here. You want it fully submerged, and you also want to continuously stir it decently slow. So we're going to go ahead, throw this beautiful looking shirt in this dye. Again, fully submerging it. That water is hot. Use your spatula, push it down, get all those air bubbles out. Thusly like so. As you can see, the dye is already eaten right at this shirt instantly. So you want to give it some flips. Oops, moving the pot. So, again, you want to fully submerge it, maybe give it a couple tosses and turns. I'm probably going to have to do it off camera, but you can reach your spatula if you can. Lift it up and kind of toss the shirt like you would a hamburger. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Yeah, I kind of did it. So, the camera's getting a little faulty. So, Again, constant stir. You don't want to leave this hanging over for a long period of time. And this is probably going to die for about, judging how well this is going, probably about 4 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to continue the dye process, continue stirring it like this until you find it fit that it is done, and I'll be right back with you. So it's fully dyed. Got the empty pot. I dumped the whole thing in here. I dyed it for about 3 minutes, and honestly did not take long at all. So what you want to do now, before you wash the shirt itself, is you want to wring all that excess dye. See all that excess dye coming out? Yeah, all that charcoal gray. You want to get all of that out. Get the shirt wet, toss it around, really wring it out. I'm going to have to do this process with 2 hands for sure, but I wanted to record it, just to get it on file. You want to squeeze. Yeah, see all that dye coming out? Put that fresh water in, squeeze the old water out, and repeat this process until you see no dye coming out of the shirt. Alright, so here we got the shirt. It should all be wringed out. Again, I recommend you just throw it under some water, give it some good squeezes, and as you can see, after about 10 minutes of me fighting with this thing, trying to wring out all the dye, it is finally all wringed out. You know it's all wringed out, or the excess dye, I should say. You know it's wringed out whenever you see clear water. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the washer and then in the dryer, and I'll show you all the finished product. I forgot to mention a detail. So when washing this, I recommend that you don't wash it with any other clothes, just in case of the dye contaminating the other clothes. I also recommend washing it with a towel, that way, or a towel that you don't really care that gets dirty or dyed. Just as precaution, as you don't want your next load to be, dyed charcoal gray. It shouldn't, since you wringed out almost all of the dye in the sink, but just as a precaution, I highly recommend you use a towel. You don't have to use a full wash. I usually don't. I only use like a rinse cycle. It usually lasts about 20 minutes or so. But yeah, I will show you the finished product after I dry it.